Hey, it's Pauline from Chronically Spicy, and I am here to try and get some awareness out there for people in the chronic illness community and those who are IV dependent for saline solution. According to sources and friends and mutual contacts on TikTok who are IV dependent, I'm seeing videos stating that they're finding out today that they are directly affected from the Helene aftermath because Baxter, the major manufacturer, the main manufacturer for the entire country, essentially is closed. And initially they were only supposed to be closed for like a short amount of time or a specified amount of time. And I've seen videos stating that now it's indefinite. That means that those who are dependent on IV solution for whatever chronic illness they may have, that prevents them from intaking enough on their own, physically by mouth, drinking water, for example. They physically cannot get enough liquid into their systems that they actually need to survive, right? And obviously water is the essential. Food is kind of like you can go without that for a little bit if necessary, or if there isn't any, because our bodies can adapt and, switch over to fat burning and glucose burning, as opposed to your body can't make its own, saline. If you need IV, you're put on it for a reason. Okay. So I'm not IV dependent. I'm not on IV. I was IV. I remember when I was pregnant, I had hyperemesis gravidarum, and I had to be IV'd like 4 saline bags every time I went to the ER because I had hyperemesis gravidarum. And I can tell you that I remember what it felt like to just I've never felt that good in my life. And this is after being dangerously ill. And of course, because having to go to the ER, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel I don't feel like a raisin anymore. I felt like the grape it's just weird. And I'm always drinking water, but this isn't about me. We're talking about everybody else. So if you see this and you are IV dependent, make sure you talk to your doctor. Make sure you call your insurance company. Make sure you find out from your medical supplier if you are affected by the factory closing and the IV shortage. One second, because this might affect you too. I'm not quite sure. So I would like for anybody who happens to see this to comment, like, share, and try and get this out there, because from what one of my connections on TikTok told me, young and disabled, she was told today that she has to taper off, even though she has been told by her doctor that she cannot, or that she's IV dependent for life for solutions for liquid. And but because it's just the liquid, the saline, that she's dependent on, and not in an ICU about to get emergency surgery, she's not critical care. ERs are allegedly, and I say allegedly because I'm looking for a news source on this, are allegedly handing out Gatorade to emergency room patients instead of IVs with saline. So this is having like long and far reaches for everyone. Let's see if I can find, here we go. All right, so, okay, see this is what I mean by like, here we go. NPR fluids, here we go. Now we're going to share this screen. Okay, let's share the RF. I found one. Screen share. All right, share. All right, so I'm looking at NPR. All right, npr.com. I will add the link to the description box on this. Please like, please share, please get the word out. Storm closes North Carolina factory that makes vital hospital supplies. This is huge. Everybody needs to get behind this. I don't care if you like me or not. This is about getting the information out there for the chronically ill, okay? Because there are plenty of people, there are so many people in my circle that are IV dependent, and they are freaking out right now, and that's just putting it mildly. If anybody in the media, you can Google my name and articles. You can see stuff, my article, whoever it for come up, because I'm going to be reaching out to editors to see if I can interview people for a story. But we're going to get to the NPR story here now. I'll read that one first. If you happen to want connections to people in the community who are directly affected by this, and you're a media, you're a journalist, freelancer, or a staffer for major media, let me know. You can email me at chronicallyspicy@gmail.com, and I can put you in touch with the people who I'm connected to who have seen, or actually who are experiencing this and directly affected. All right, npr.com. Again, the story is called Storm Damages North Carolina Factory That Makes Vital Hospital Supplies. I will do a second story, on a second video on this later. That is just a short, just the read, okay? As the remnants of Hurricane Helene moved inland, a storm flooded a factory that makes intravenous fluids used in hospitals around the country. The Baxter International Factory in Marion, North Carolina, about 35 miles outside of Asheville, was evacuated right before the worst of the storm passed, according to social media posts from employees. It's now shut down and covered in mud, like a lot of Western North Carolina, but bridges leading to the factory were also badly damaged. Please share this. The factory is one of the largest suppliers of IV fluids in the country. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, says, Baxter says it will spare no expense to get the factory back online, but the company, quote, doesn't have a timeline for when operations will be back up and running, unquote. What is this story dated? It is dated October 4th, okay? It's October 18th now. The plant's closure, which could last weeks or even months based on similar situations in the past, could strain the supply of vital health products. The kinds of things that are made at this factory are drugs that we're using every day, and in case of sodium chloride in particular, potentially for every patient, says Dr. Allison Haddock, president of the American College of Emergency Physicians. This is huge news. Please join, please like, please share, and make sure you try to get this information out there, because this is directly affecting patients with conditions that require IV solution to survive. IV fluids, like sterile water, saline, and fluids with carbohydrates, are used all the time in hospitals, surgery centers, nursing homes, and dialysis centers. Some drugs have to be given with IV fluid, and sometimes emergency room patients can't have anything by mouth while they're being evaluated in case they need surgery, so they'll get an IV to stay hydrated. It is the rare patient in the emergency room that doesn't end up with some IV fluids in the course of their evaluation and treatment, sort of regardless of their chief complaint, Haddock says. Okay. Baxter and the government get to work. Work has already begun to get the factory up and running with about 500 people on site, the company says. We expect this number to double in the week ahead. The FDA is also working with Baxter and other parts of the government to get a handle on the situation. The agency says it may look at temporarily allowing imported IV fluids to avoid shortages. I'm hearing that we're already there. Baxter is limiting orders to prevent panic buying. That could make things worse and to make sure that the existing supply of IV solutions is distributed evenly. Okay. My hospital has been told we can expect 40% of what we normally order. 40%, says Chris Laman, Vice President of Strategy for Columbia Memorial Hospital in Astoria, Oregon, told NPR in an email. We're talking about having to limit elective surgeries. Baxter also sent a letter to hospitals suggesting they reevaluate their protocols for IV fluids to make sure they're going to the people who really need them and not being wasted. If you're going into the emergency room and for any reason, now mind you, by being wasted, I don't think that they don't mean, that it's a waste to give it to a patient coming in for an anaphylactic reaction or anything else like that. It's just they have to prioritize. In other words, they need to prioritize. So this is now for patients who are critically ill, I guess. How hospitals are handling the situation. It's difficult for hospitals to stockpile IV fluids the way they can with pills or vials of medicine because IV fluids are bulky. Each liter bag weighs more than 2 pounds. They are large, says Mike Laganio of the American Society of Health System Pharmacists. And so hospitals, if they're managing inventory on site, there are only so much they can keep on hand at a time, and it may be a week to 10 days worth, depending on which specific solution we're referring to. He says hospitals are already digging up old policies from when Hurricane Maria crippled a factory making similar products in 2017. For better or worse, hospital pharmacists had been through this before. It's good because we can manage, Gagnon says. We can deliver care to patients without the patient's care being affected. It's bad because it means that we're just managing this. We're accepting that it's a status quo and the patients aren't learning about it. That's exactly what Young and Disabled talked about in her video on TikTok. She just found out today, that she is affected as of today. Mind you, this article was written on October 4th, that she's going to have to taper on her IV solution because she's heard that ERs are handing out Gatorade to emergency room patients. If that was me, I'd be in trouble because I'm allergic to Gatorade water. So, like, I'm just imagining, I'm just imagining, I can't even, the panic that IV dependent patients are dealing with right now because of this. What to expect if you're a patient. Most of the juggling will happen behind the scenes. Patients probably won't even realize wow, okay. Yeah, this is why we need to update this, right? Patients probably won't even realize IV fluids are in short supply unless things really get dire. I think we're there now. The hope is that the FDA and healthcare system can prevent that from happening. I don't think they succeeded from what I'm seeing on TikTok from people that I follow. But shortages could affect patients in the emergency room who come in with nausea and vomiting, for example. Often, they would be given an IV bag for hydration. But with the limited supply of these bags, these patients might be given anti-nausea medication and asked to drink a Gatorade or Pedialyte instead. If this was me during my pregnancy when I had hyperemesis and in the ER, I wouldn't be able to do either one of those options because of my chronic illnesses and my very long and extensive allergy list literally makes me allergic to at least one, if not more, ingredients in both of those options. I'm so I'm empathizing hard with the community of people who are IV dependent. because, oh my God, that conserves the IV bags for patients in the intensive care unit and those getting surgery. It could become a difficult situation, but patients should know they're in good hands, says Haddock of the American College of Emergency Physicians. We're pros at this, and we're going to figure out how to get you the care that you absolutely need, even if it's not in the easiest way. All right, so that is one story that I will be adding. One second. That's one story that I'll be adding to the stream description. Now let's see if we can find one more, because we need to get this in people's faces. Let's see. Update. Okay, is this the new one? Let's see, NBC News. Okay, all right, look, hey, we got NBC News. This is an update. Let's see what we're gonna read this. No, that's from October 3rd. We're still gonna read it, and I'll see if we can find anything more recent. 1 second. Let's go to share screen. And if you see this video, if you're, I know I got. This isn't about me. This is about trying to get the word out, because patients are like, people know that the factory was affected and was temporarily closed, but people who are IV dependent shouldn't be finding out the day that they're supposed to taper, because there aren't enough IVs for them to have prescribed or handed out, picked up, so they can get what they're prescribed, what they physically need. All right, this is from NBC News, and this is October 3rd. Hospitals take steps to conserve IV fluid supply after Helene strikes critical factory. Baxter International said it would temporarily close production at its North Cove, North Carolina-based facility, raising concerns about a potential nationwide shortage. Yeah, all right, I think we're there now. By Berkeley Lovelance Jr. and Mustafa Fatah. Hospitals across the U.S. are taking steps to conserve their supplies of fluids after Hurricane Helene struck a critical manufacturing plant belonging to the country's biggest supplier. Baxter International, a medical technology company, said Sunday that it would temporarily close production because of flooding from Helene, raising concerns about potential nationwide shortage. Pretty sure we're there, because that's what I'm seeing on my TikTok feed. IV fluids are used to deliver drugs or water with electrolytes directly into a patient's bloodstream. They're also critical for surgery when a person is unable to eat or drink to keep them hydrated. Baxter also makes specialty fluids such as peritoneal dialysis fluid, which helps patients with kidney failure filter waste from their blood, as well as irrigation fluids used during procedures to clean or flush wounds. This is huge. There are 4 primary manufacturers of IV fluids in the U.S. Baxter is the leader, accounting for about 60% of the market. The company is the main supplier for Mass General Brigham in Boston, which uses more than 100,000 liters of IV fluid from Baxter every month. On a call Thursday with reporters, Dr. Paul Bittinger, Mass General's Chief Preparedness and Continuity Officer, said the health system received a letter from Baxter that due to temporary closure, the system would only receive 40% of its usual supply from the manufacturer. The letter prompted the health system to take steps to conserve its supply, including, in some cases, providing options like Gatorade or plain water to patients instead of giving them IVs. I've been in a situation where I needed IV. I had hyperemesis gravid arm during my pregnancy. I couldn't even keep water down for 48 hours before I went to the urgent care, and they were like, "Yeah, you have to go to the ER because I was pregnant and I couldn't even keep water down. I couldn't drink. I could, but I couldn't keep it down. I required four IV bags every single time I went to the hospital for my HG while I was pregnant. This is insane. Bittinger said that it's too early to tell. Story from October 3rd, remember? But actions the health system might need to take if the supply shortage continues for several more weeks, which it has, but that it's considering switching to other suppliers. Okay. Patients are still getting IV fluids when they need them, Bittinger said, as of October 3rd. We are continuing normal medical services, but emphasizing conservation, and we are carefully monitoring this incident to determine how long it may last, how long we need to conserve, and making sure we identify all areas of our enterprise or services are affected. Dr. Bittinger, if you happen to see this, if by some great miracle you happen to see this, please know that there are patients who are across the country on the East, and I know a few from the East Coast who are directly affected, who have been told that they have to taper and are going to be getting much less, if any, of their usual required prescription to stay hydrated, and that they're finding out the day of from their local medical suppliers. So I understand that you work directly for Mass General Brigham in Boston, and that's your, that's what that, but you also, if you're able to connect with any media to get the story out there and update people to let them know that this is still happening, please use your position and your media contacts to create as much awareness as you can about the situation. Mass General's chief. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Patients are still getting IV fluids when they need them. Did I read this part? Bittinger said we're continuing normal medical services, but emphasizing conservation, and we are carefully monitoring this incident to determine how long it may last, how long we need to conserve, and making sure that, okay, yeah, I did. Here's the thing, right now, from what I am seeing in thank you, Cynthia, please keep giving attention for this. Hard to fill the gap. In a statement published online Thursday, so this is before October 3rd, Baxter said it doesn't yet have a timeline for when operations will be back up and running. As part of the problem, the company said the bridges to its site were damaged in the storm, limiting transport in and out. The Department of Health and Human Services and the Agency Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response are working with Baxter to assess damage and help with recovery efforts. A spokesperson for HHS said the government is focused on reducing supply chain disruptions that may result from damage to the facility and the surrounding infrastructure. In addition to Baxter, the spokesperson said, 2 other large manufacturers of IV fluids in the U.S. are also working to increase supply. The FDA's drug shortage office is in touch with Baxter and about impacts to products manufactured at the facility, and will continue to coordinate with FEMA to assist the company with cleanup of the facility, the spokesperson said. One of the manufacturers working to increase supply is B. Braun Medical, which accounts for about 23% of the IV fluids market, a company spokesperson said. The spokesperson said the company is looking to increase the supply of the most quote-unquote most critical products or hospital workhorses, such as large volume bags, 500 milliliters to 2,000 milliliters of sodium chloride, sterile water, and lactated ringers. B. Braun Medical is also hiring new employees and hopes to be running 24/7 at two of its facilities in the coming weeks. It also has looked to bring in product from abroad. However, ports across East and Gulf Coast are closed because of the port strike, compounding the issue. Even so, it will be difficult to make the gap left by Baxter because they were making 60% of the nation's supply. Why do we? How do we? How do we? Oh my God, who's in charge of deciding who gets to make the most? Like how that's like if there are 2 other suppliers, how did we get to the point where one company, one factory became responsible for 60%? Bad up. Ports are open again, thankfully. I was so worried about that. Okay, they're open, but like, and that's good to hear. Okay, so I'm seeing someone on my TikTok stream just told me that the ports are open again. But yeah, we definitely need to talk. 60% of the nation's supply coming from one factory. I don't care about contracts. I don't care about lobbyists. I don't care about how this decision came to be. For those who need and depend on IV solutions at home on a daily basis to survive, I care that they are in the 60% of patients who are going to be affected because most hospital systems, we're reading that hospital systems are only getting 40% of their usual supply. And patients now who are IV dependent are hearing today that as of today, they are on the, sorry, we can't, we have to prioritize, and since you only need IV and you don't need this because you're also taking therapeutic TPN, the IV nutrition, because you can't handle solid foods, or because you're not in the emergency room having open heart surgery, they're not going to. I know people who physically cannot survive without the IV solution because they are dependent on it. No, dependent, okay? And a hospital only getting 40% of the normal supply is affecting the remaining 60%, if you do the math, which trickles down to small, local, independent medical suppliers and patients like those that I'm seeing in my social media feeds who are now having to ration their IV solutions. I don't think about that. Wow. Okay. ICU medical. One second. Okay, so even so, difficult to make up the gap with Baxter. Yeah, because the company was making 60% of the national supply. That needs to be addressed by anyone in Congress, congressmen, Congress people. I need, if anybody in the government actually sees this and has a loved one who has a chronic illness or who is IV dependent, can you make this part of your platform, please? After this nightmare is over for IV dependent patients, can you please jump on this and make sure that we're not in this situation again? Because at the very least, if there are 3 major medical suppliers, if there are 3 suppliers in the country making this, that make the IV solutions for, and 3 is a small number to begin with, okay? But if there are 3 major suppliers of Saline's IV saline solution for hospitals creating this and necessary liquids for medical solutions for dialysis patients, it should at the very least be divided. Each one creating a third of the an equal share, so that if one goes down, the other 2 can pick up the slack. It should by no means have been centralized to the point that we are now having people who live in Virginia being told that their local medical suppliers can't fill their prescriptions because that's actually life-threatening. But from the first story that we read, we're seeing that patients are in the ERs, and some ERs are being handed Gatorade and water, which does no good if you come in vomiting and you can't keep down liquids. I know at least one person who had multiple pregnancies and she had to be PICC lined for constant IV her entire pregnancy because her hyperemesis gravidarum, which causes basically full-term morning sickness, but worse, she wouldn't have survived the pregnancies. Oh my God. Okay. Geez. Okay. So anyway, we're anticipating there'll be major constraints on the U.S. supply of IV fluids as a result of a production outage at Baxter's North Cove plant. The company's spokesperson said in a statement. Okay, so ICU Medical, another IV medical supplier, said it's monitoring for potential increases in demand. The company is already taking necessary steps to increase production to help meet market needs. Says spokesperson Harrison Richards. Harrison Richards, please speak with your employer and see what they can do about making sure that they continue to produce whatever percentage you have to meet the demand, because we should have had a plan B in place before the disaster happened, not try to figure out how to fix it after patients who are dependent on the solution, on saline solution to survive, are being told by their local suppliers, medical suppliers, that they can't get what they need to survive. Remember, if we're stuck in a situation without food or water, it's the lack of hydration that's going to take us out before the lack of food. Our bodies have the ability to fuel itself from our fat stores for indefinite amounts of time and in hardship, but we do not have the ability to create our own hydration. Fluids and all other medical supplies need to be produced more widely for emergency. Yes, they do. And Mr. Harrison Richards, please make this a priority to speak with whoever needs to be spoken to about making sure that whatever plan you all come up with to increase production, that you stay at that number and that you always have or always are the plan B, not having to play catch up and trying to figure out if you can be the plan B after the national disaster is struck. This would be to make this as simplistic as possible, this would be me going out with my daughter when she was a newborn with one diaper and one pair and just one change of clothes, and then being surprised when she got hungry again and needed to be changed again after eating, and I'm wow, I only brought one diaper and one change of clothes, and she got sick because babies do that, and she got too much air in her tummy with the bottle, whatever. That would be me leaving the house without a diaper bag when I was a new mom. That'd be me leaving the house without my EpiPens as someone with multiple anaphylactic allergies and mast cell activation syndrome, and then going, Yeah, well, plan B. I don't have epi and I was just exposed to latex, or I just had a reaction to something new that I tried, or something that was safe yesterday but it isn't today. Oh, okay, so I have anaphylaxis. My EpiPens are at home. And now my only option is to go to the ER. Um, I plan, even with carrying my pens all the time, I had to learn the hard way that two isn't enough to carry, because I had two EpiPens that misfire on me from the same lot and same box just like 8 weeks ago. Okay, I only carried two. I carry four now because Plan A are the first two. Plan B is, guess what? I have two more on the bench just in case. Two more in my bag, because I'm not going to put myself in that situation again if I can prevent that. And that's where we are now with IV solution. Fluids and all other medical supplies need to be produced more widely for emergencies, straight up. The same thing happened to you, Cynthia. Message me and we need to check out the lot number, because and the type of EpiPen, because I have someone on my TikTok feed telling me that they also had two misfires in a box, and I had someone else in my circle tell me that she had both from the same lot, same box, misfire, as my situation. So I want to get into that with you, because, small sidebar, but because the Kraft Cheese Factory company, the Kraft Cheese Company, had a national recall for American cheese because one of their machines malfunctioned when it was applying the plastic wrapper to the cheese. So there were small pieces of plastic that were still stuck to the cheese, and I think 5 cases of people gagging, and or coughing, because of realizing that they were also swallowing tiny bits of plastic with the cheese. They issued a national recall for American cheese because of 5 cases called in. But 4 EpiPens from the same lot and same box get no attention at all. Yep, Cynthia, mine were the yellow and the black ones too. At this time, there is no impact to patient care, said Carrie Cristello, a spokesperson for RWJ Barnabas. We will continue to monitor the situation closely. I hope you're still monitoring it, Carrie Cristello, because patients in Virginia are learning today that they will not be able to get that they have to ration, because they won't be able to get the saline solution that they're dependent on for their chronic illness conditions. And there's no physical way that they can actually make up for by taking in the liquid that they need, that the IV solution saline bag provides. They are IV dependent. In a statement, Oregon Health and Science University Hospital, which also is affected by the Baxter closure, said that it's keeping its community informed of any changes that could be needed in patient care, research, or education missions. The hospital is also using oral hydration options when possible, as well as evaluating each patient for the discontinuation of continuous IV fluids. That's who is currently being affected, from what I'm seeing in my feeds on social media. The patients who are on continuous IV fluids, which, mind you, you need to understand, patients who are on continuous IV fluids and prescribed that by their physicians didn't get there because they came in with sunstroke because they were out in the sun too long and couldn't catch up with the electrolytes that their bodies needed. So they're still feeling they're hungover and messed up like 2 hours later. This is for, and this isn't for, hey, I left my water bottle at home and I'm kind of thirsty right now, but it's 50 miles to the next gas station or rest stop. This is your doctor has run multiple tests. Your care team has run multiple tests. You have been diagnosed with one or more chronic illnesses that prevent you from being able to intake the necessary level of hydration to keep yourself like healthy and alive. And it takes, this is not like first line, like the doctors don't look, you can go on first visit and go, okay, so you need some, you need this, and oh yeah, let's take care of getting you a central line for solutions, for saline solution. This is not, it takes a while usually to get from walking in with your doctor going, hey doc, I don't know what's wrong, I feel like crap all the time, this is what's, these are my symptoms. Usually multiple tests, sometimes multiple specialists, before it gets to the point where doctors are like, yeah, you need continuous IV fluids. And in some cases, people are being told this for their conditions, that they're going to need it for the rest of their lives. So even a small break in the flow is going to put people in medical danger. Northwestern Medicine in Illinois said that supply chain team is discussing conservation efforts as well. Wow, okay, this should have been the lead, okay? This should not have been the kicker. I'm using journal. The lead is the beginning of the story, and the kicker is your final quote, your final line, in like straight news stories, not subjective like opinion columns, right? Where like the commentator or the writer is like sharing their personal opinion on a topic. This is for straight up objective news. You're supposed to do the inverted triangle where the most important information goes at the top, and that's your lead. And then you can save or repeat or reword, or call your source back and ask them if they can restate, share with them, hey, I'm using this quote from you, and then ask, can you possibly state that in a different way so that I can wrap the story up in a pretty little bow, and make sure that people come in with the most important quote, and make sure they see it again at the bottom and basically sandwich the story with the most important fact. And this is that fact. According to, to catch back up, Northwestern Medicine in Illinois said supply chain team is discussing conservation efforts. Okay? That's the last line before the final quote in the story. We anticipate this will be a long-term issue, said Jenny Nowatzki, a spokesperson. NBC News, this story needed to be edited again. Someone needed to, copy editors needed to go over this one more time, okay? I'm not blaming Berkeley. Lovelace Jr., the author of the writer behind the story, because I know this was probably one of multiple deadlines on his plate that day. And not being chronically ill or not being in a situation, if you write about, as a reporter on beat, you're writing about multiple subjects that you've never actually dealt with yourself, right? But that doesn't matter, because we're supposed to. That's why we talk to experts. That's why we quote experts, and people who are who work for or with foundations that support or create awareness and whatever for various different causes, right? Or companies. And in this case, we opened the story because hospitals take steps to conserve IV fluid supply after saline strikes critical factory. Then the subhead is Baxter International said it would temporarily close production at its North Cove, North Carolina-based facility, raising concerns about a potential nationwide shortage. Okay, reporter hat back on. The subhead should have been, we anticipate this would be a long-term shortage, says Northwestern Medicine's spokesperson, or something like that, and then go into the story. So whoever copyedited this story dropped the ball, because that information needed to be at the very top. I can tell you that as a writer, freelance writer, and someone who's written for as a staffer on major news media, that a lot of people don't read beyond the headline or the subhead, right? That's why like the Daily News does that little like, here's the headline, here are like the 6 bullet points for like the 6 paragraphs that follow, and they're in bold, and then nobody like, and then people stop reading after that. It's because they, and you want to know why they do that? Because they know people usually stop reading after that. The average American has like a 5-minute attention span or something when it comes to like reading news, unless it's something that they're like highly interested in or affects them directly. Oh, me too. Hey, Jess, how are you? I hope you're doing okay too. I am so happy that you finally got a diagnosis and some good and some treatment and are being. That's essential. Okay, so back to here. We need NBC. I know you guys. Please update this story so that the subhead on this says what the kicker says. Reword it however you need to, however you see fit, but we anticipate this will be a long-term issue, said Jenny Nowatzki, a spokesperson from Northwestern Medicine in Illinois, affecting their entire supply chain team. I know people who are personally affected as of right now, and they're finding out today from their local medical suppliers that they are affected, that they cannot get and must ration their medication, their saline, their continuous IV solution. Why are they finding out today? I apologize for my lips looking. I'm in the middle of a chronic illness flare that has nothing to do with IV solutions. I don't, but because I don't do that. I haven't been prescribed that or anything. But yeah, that's why this is happening right now. So I did look in the mirror before I started in case anybody hops in on the comments. I'm dehydrating as we speak. So, but that's because of like a specific situation. But I just put myself back on full camera and I'm like, oh yeah, that looks great. Yeah, I see it. I just can't do anything about it right now. That's why I'm swollen right here. My Pomeranian hair. Yep, got it. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got on this, because this is crazy. Why are people just finding out now? Okay, 4 hours ago. Thank you, Reuters on MSN. All right, this is actually a Today story. All right, we have got. Let me go to here and let me share this one. This is a Today story, like not USA Today. To clarify, this is a it was written and it was published today. So we are now sharing this. Hurricane. This is from MSN.com. Okay, MSN.com. Hurricane related. Please get this. Please share. Please comment, please. Share it across all your social media. Ask your friends and Facebook and LinkedIn and TikTok and whatever else, whatever other social media you're on. Please share this and share and get the word out, because people need to know. All right. MSN.com says, here's a open parentheses. This October 17th story has been corrected to say Baxter expects to meet 90 to 100% of allocation for certain products, not all products, in paragraph 3. The story was previously refiled to correct the date. Okay, so, all right, so we have a story written by Manas Mishra and Christy Santosh by Reuters. A shortage of intravenous saline fluids due to Hurricane Helene is forcing hospitals to defer non-urgent surgeries and could hurt companies that make medical devices for elective procedures if the supply crunch persists, analysts said. The analyst, let me fix that for you. A shortage of intravenous, and by the MSN, you need to fix that first paragraph. A shortage of intravenous IV saline fluids due to Hurricane Helene is forcing hospitals to defer non-urgent patients and could hurt patients that are dependent upon continuous IV solutions for their various chronic illnesses, is what that first paragraph should say. I don't give a crap about the company's bottom lines that manufacture them. Okay. This is that was the wrong take on that. I should probably just start analyzing freaking news stories. Jesus. That the focus should be the individual on this one. I have multiple contacts in the chronic illness community who are dependent on continuous IV fluids for their survival. And my first thought was not, oh, wow, the company CEOs aren't going to get that extra big bonus this Christmas. When, the videos come across my feed with them trying not to panic because they have just been told today by their local medical suppliers that they cannot get what they physically need to stay hydrated, which is essential to living. Okay, let's keep on reading. MSN, if you see this, fix that first paragraph. Baxter International's North Carolina plant, which makes 60% of the nation's supply of IV fluids and some key dialysis solutions, thank you, was closed for production late last month due to hurricane-related flooding. Since then, hospitals have postponed elective surgeries, even as the U.S. government, Baxter, and other suppliers have rushed to bring in supplies from other facilities, including from overseas. Again, like I said previously, why did we get to the plan B after the disaster started? Why wasn't plan B in place before, just in case? Makes no sense. Okay, since then, okay. Baxter said it aimed to return to 90 to 100% allocation of certain IV solutions by the end of 2024. One second. End of 2024. Y'all hearing this? FEMA. One second. Yeah, 1 second. All right. You hearing this? End of 2024. Certain, not all. Certain, not all. By the end of 2024. That's a lot of individual continuous IV fluid patients who who get their hydration through their IVs at home because nobody can afford to stay in the hospital for the rest of their lives, like every single day. That's a lot of people that are going to be affected. The big question for medical device makers is how soon the shortage can be resolved, said Barclays analyst Mike Miksic in an interview. Yeah, that's also the big question for the chronic illness, for those who are dependent on continuous IV. If resolved soon, whatever gets pushed out of this quarter will likely get picked up by the following quarter in terms of delayed surgeries, said Miksic. We're not just worried about surgeries. We're worried about people who have different, and varying chronic illnesses that prevent their bodies from either keeping in or taking in the level of hydration that's required to remain healthy and alive. We wouldn't expect at this point significant sustaining impacts on the stocks. I don't give a rat's. I understand that MSN covers finance a lot. I get that. But not a good take. Okay? If you're going to talk about the stock, maybe talk about the patients who need or are prescribed and can't get the medication that they need. Now, maybe a quote. It's not hard. TikTok, IV shortage. Instagram, IV shortage. Twitter, IV shortage. X, IV shortage. Like you could find a person willing to go on record and be quoted like this in less than 5 minutes. I 100% guarantee that. We are not, you are looking at the numbers and the patients that I know on continuous IV solution who are there because they have very serious chronic health conditions that require this to survive, are being told that they're not going to be getting the medication. Sorry, that's my chronic illness saying hello. Okay. All right. Because you want to know, mast cell activation syndrome, MCAS, can also be triggered with allergic flares, allergic reactions, just because, emotions. Like I cried watching Top Gun and set off an allergic reaction needed to administer medications. So, yeah, good times. Okay, J&J, Johnson & Johnson, became the first medical device company to flag a potential hit on Tuesday when it warned that the IV saline solution shortage could impact surgical procedures across its portfolio if they persist. I'm sorry about your stocks, Johnson & Johnson. Yeah. During a surgery, patients are administered a normal saline solution or a type of IV fluid called lactated ringers to replenish lost fluids. Germany's Fresenius and medtech company B. Braun Medical said last week they were ramping up production of IV fluids to mitigate the shortage. Hey, B. Braun Medical, can you make sure you keep that up? Because obviously the U.S. medical system, like the people in charge of hey, let's split things up this way for our supplies. We're going to put all of our supplies for essential things like saline solution in 60%, and 60% is going to be produced by one company, even though we have 3 different ones in the United States and 3 factories in the United States, and we're going to put most of our eggs in one basket, and then wonder what happened when the hurricane hits in an area known to be on the hurricane tracks. How and why? Device makers including Boston Scientific, Edwards Lifescience, Medtronic, and Stryker, and hospital operations as HCA Healthcare and Tenet Healthcare are likely to face questions about the potential impact from the shortage when they get earnings in the coming weeks. Yeah, okay. Baxter is expected to report its quarterly earnings on November 8th. Given that the shortage is not expected to last too long, well, that's not what the lady from the spokesperson from Northwestern said. And what is too long? I didn't finish reading the sentence. Given that the shortage is not expected to last too long, comma, the impact on hospital operators and other providers should be modest in the fourth quarter. Well, that should make all of you chronically ill and IV dependent patients feel better, knowing that, don't worry, J&J, Boston Scientific, Edwards Life Sciences, Medtronic and Stryker, and HC Healthcare and Tenet Healthcare, they're all going to be back on their feet financially by the fourth quarter. So you that should make you feel better, right? You'll be fine. And Baxter too, because Baxter's going to be reporting its quarterly earnings on November 8th. Given that the shortage is not, got that. So yeah, they're not expected to last too long, he says. Too long is subjective. We needed more. The impact on hospital says Jefferies analyst Brian Tanquilut. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, in a Wednesday research note. Morningstar analyst Julia Utterback said the recent storms could be a short-term concern, quote unquote, for HCA and do not typically change a long-term outlook for hospital operators. Again, I understand what type of publication MSN is. I understand that it's going to be, market-based, but not necessarily patient-central. Or patient focused, but just one sentence would have been one sentence on how this is affecting patients directly. Home patients, chronically ill patients on continuous IV. That's so important. Next story, this is the last one I'm doing, and bazinga.com. What is bazinga.com? U.S. hospitals face critical IV fluid shortage, and this is dated today. 3-minute read, one comment. Dated today, October 18th, 2024. Hospitals face critical IV fluid shortage after facility shut down to Hurricane Helene. Okay, so your key points. Remember I told you about that? This is where you put your most important inverted triangle. Most important facts come at the top. Headline tries to truncate the most, the main point of the story. Subhead, second, you can put in like a second, like bringing the reader in, explain a little bit more. But by the time your reader gets to the end of the first paragraph, the lead, they should have all of the information that they need, which is why the previous story missed the mark, because anybody who didn't read it in the story completely missed the fact that that the spokesperson for Northwestern Hospital Systems is predicting a long-term effect. All right, so the United States is facing wait a minute, what were the key points? Baxter plant in North Carolina produces 60% of the U.S. supply of IV fluids. The FDA has temporarily authorized the importation of Baxter's products from international facilities. Okay. All right. United States facing, and these ads go away. The United States is facing a significant shortage of intravenous fluids, including saline and dextrose solutions, exacerbated by damage to Baxter International plants in North Carolina. Plants, it says. So maybe there's more than one, but either way, the North Carolina was basically. All right. So plants in North Carolina due to Hurricane Helene. These essential fluids, already in limited supply before the hurricane, are critical for various medical treatments such as hydration, wound cleaning, and dialysis. I have a friend with a kidney transplanted kidney. The closure of Baxter's plant, which produces 60% of that country's IV fluids, has intensified the scarcity, leaving hospitals struggling to maintain adequate supplies. And patients directly affected are trying to figure out how they're going to survive. Let me just add that in for you. An NBC report noted that years before the hurricane, the U.S. was already experiencing shortages of IV fluids, according to the FDA. Saline solution has been in short supply since 2018, sterile water since 2021, and dextrose solutions since early 2022. Please tap, and share. All right. This is, and we'll make sure I add the links to this on YouTube. And the best part, the reason I'm letting people know on my TikTok stream, just so you know, the reason that I live stream on YouTube is because then the story or the video the live stream becomes a video that you can watch at any time. On TikTok, it like disappears after I think 90 days. So that's why they're basically evergreened on in my library of videos on YouTube. So make sure you follow, like the video, like the live stream, hit the thumbs up, please subscribe, please comment on and share this video, because people need to know this. They don't need it. Okay. The hurricane worsened the situation, adding lactated ringer solution and peritoneal dialysis fluids to the list of shortages. All right, so we were already playing catch up since 2018 on medically necessary fluids, and oh god, my eyes hurt. Allergic shiners. Oh, that really actually hurts. Okay. Saline solution. Okay, yeah. I mean, saline solution has been in short supply since 2018. So if you're already talking about IV saline solution already being in short supply since 2018, and that remaining supply that's being created and distributed amongst patients in the country, in the US, and don't mind me while I medicate for off camera here. Oh. Okay. Saline solutions, short supply since 2018. And we're trying to, and we're the backup plan is like, we don't have a backup plan in place in case things, I don't know, something crazy happens. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there, but like a devastating hurricane hits a state in which hurricanes are known to happen. That's kind of like me being surprised that there's going to, if I walk out and there's a blizzard, I'm in the upper Midwest. Holy crap. What is this snow? I only have my sandals and my Crocs. Whatever shall I do? That's not how you prepare and make sure patients who are directly affected but may not be in critical acute care situations, emergency care situations, for emergency surgeries or acute situations like this is a happening right now thing. I am sharing the wrong screen. There we go. This is hugely important when it's directly affecting individuals. Okay. The shortage is a critical issue as hospitals depend on these fluids for life-saving treatments, and they are challenging to produce due to high regulatory standards and the delicate sterilization process involved. Yep. And the shortage is also critical for the patients who live at home and are on continuous IV fluids. Yeah. Yeah, Cynthia. That's what I did. I'm cast flared like you wouldn't believe, because I'm relating to this story and I have all the feelings right now, because I'm in a ration my main stabilizing medication for different reasons, but I can completely and 100% empathize with the community of chronically ill patients who are directly affected by the fact that they're supposed to be, they've been prescribed continuous IV for life, and because they physically need it and they can't get it now. Aaron Fox, senior pharmacy director at the University of Utah Health, told NBC that the low profitability of manufacturing these fluids has deterred companies from entering the market. Okay. I need to start my own publication. I understand. I'm guessing, I get it. I'm looking at services, markets, opening, ratings, ideas, money, crypto, cannabis. I didn't say that. TikTok. Jobs. Okay, so yeah, it's got like the stock thing going across ticker going across the top. I get it. I understand each publication has a market that they're writing for. But I don't know, maybe try to personalize it a little bit and get okay. IV fluids require significant space and resources to produce and store, and their relatively low cost creates little financial incentive for manufacturers. But y'all know it's still needed. Thank you, Cynthia. Let's see if one works, right? Speaking to NBC, Michael Gagnon, Senior Director of Pharmacy Practice at the American Society of Health System Pharmacists, added that controlling endotoxins, harmful bacteria resistant to sterilization, further complicates the production process. And when you have a company or a factory, a building that is 100, that is damaged and flooded, you've got all the bacteria. In response to the crisis, the federal government has invoked the Defense Production Act, enabling Baxter to secure priority access to materials necessary to rebuild its North Carolina factory. Okay. That took 3 weeks to do. Okay. The FDA has also allowed Baxter to temporarily import IV fluids from Canada, China, Ireland, and the UK. Despite these efforts, Baxter expects to meet only 90% of its customers' needs by the end of the year. Do you know who's going to be at the end of that line? Patients who only need continuous IV solutions, which the longer they go without what the amount they actually need, things are going to compound. It's not going to be an immediate hey, I'm rationing this right now. So I only have this symptom. By the time we get to the end of the year, these patients are going to be possibly hospitalized at best for a few that I know. And obviously many that I don't. Because right now, from what I've seen in reading these articles and talking to people I know and I'm connected to on social media, it's intensive care, emergency surgery, critical care, ICU, right? Intensive care, emergency surgery, patients on TPN, liquid IV nutrition, right? Because if they can't take in any, they need the actual nutrition and the hydration to survive. Okay. Emergency room, like anaphylaxis and emergency room visit patients for other issues. When a patient can't keep liquids down or intake liquids if they're unconscious after, say, a major car accident or anything. And at the very bottom, then you've got that 10% that's missing from the full supply that Baxter expects Baxter used to produce. is the continuous IV patients who that's the only thing that they need. No one else, doctors aren't, when you're prioritizing in an emergency because of a natural disaster, I understand, save the women and children first. I get it. When the Titanic was going down, it was get the women and the children onto the lifeboats as many as you can. Guys, I wish you the best. But they only had a limited, this is the Titanic, except it's chronic illness and a hurricane and liquid IV. This ship was doomed before it took off. This production line with 60% coming from Baxter, from one company, one factory, or one manufacturer. This right here was as doomed as the Titanic, because they didn't have enough lifeboats because, right, for the Titanic, they didn't have enough lifeboats because they were so convinced that they were going to be fine. This boat's unsinkable. This ship's unsinkable. Except now, Baxter's hit that iceberg. The whole of the ship is cracking, and y'all know, and you're going, and you're going down. The patients who are that 10% is a lot of individuals who are going to be directly affected, and it's going to have for some it could be for some it could end up as in life-threatening situations as their symptoms compound the longer they go without this medication, without this medically necessary medical solution, right? The shortage affects hospitals, right? With many postponing elective surgeries due to insufficient IV fluid supplies. Okay, fine. I get that elective. If it's elective, is elective. I get that. I had an elective surgery when I was 24. I would not have been mad if I'd been told that I needed to wait, even though the surgery helped to correct an issue that was affecting my overall health and my spine health. I would not have been mad if I'd been told that I had to wait, put it off 6 months because of the shortage in IVs. I might have been a little bit annoyed, but elective is elective, so I get that. Citing some analysts, Reuters highlighted the impact on medical device manufacturers such as Boston Scientific and Edwards Life Sciences will be minimal if the shortage is resolved by early next year. However, the situation remains concerning for hospital operators like HCA Healthcare, this still hurts, and Tenet Healthcare, as delays in surgeries could affect their revenues. Yeah, it could affect your patients being alive too, but everybody seems to be missing that point. Baxter announced that the first FDA authorized product shipments for temporary importation are set to arrive in the U.S. this weekend. Okay, but again, long term here, what we're being told that this right now we're being told that this is something that's going to be affecting people through the end of the year, because even by the end of 2024, Baxter is only going to have 90%, is expecting to predicting that they will be at 90% for what they normally produce. That's still, there's a lot of people who are going to be left in without something they physically need. In collaboration with the ASPR, the company estimates at the end of year about 200 Boeing 747 cargo planes, equivalent to nearly 18,000 tons of product, will be delivered from Europe and Asia. Providers could begin receiving the shipments in the coming weeks. Wow. That's mind-blowing. Okay, so we're in the coming weeks, we're expecting 18,000 tons. Shut. This is what happens when you live stream. Shush. Hey. I will bet you the neighbor has her dog. Oh, wow. Okay. The neighbor has her dog out, probably. Hey. Quiet. Thank you, because this is embarrassing. All right, stop it. Hey, shush. All right. So let's go back over here. Let me see. I want to read you because I'm gonna wrap up because I need to get back. Shush. I don't know how long these guys are gonna actually stay quiet. So give me a second. Let's look up. I'm currently Googling chronic illness continuous IV solution. Okay. Shush. Okay. Intravenous fluid management in critically ill adults. No, well, we're looking for this just for people who are on continuous. Did I put continuous? I want for continuous, not. All right, mobile IV therapy near me. I mean, there's a condition called chronic CVS, chronic cyclical vomiting syndrome, which my daughter's doctor suspects she may have. That's connected to her mast cell activation syndrome. She if she's not stable with her mast cells, she has POTS too. So she lives on Gatorade and other electrolyte solutions for the hydration that she needs because of her conditions, and because she gets physically ill and can't keep anything down when her hormones are doing things that hormones do. But we haven't had we haven't had a situation where she needed to be IV'd since she was a baby. So, but anyway, I know people with cyclical vomiting syndrome who need IVs because they lose, a quarter of their body weight in like a week because they can't keep anything down. Cyclical vomiting syndrome is essentially having having hyperemesis gravidarum, but like for the rest of your life. All right, let's see. Intravenous fluid therapy in adults in hospitals. No, I'm looking for. See, there's not. Obviously, we do not have enough. Intravenous fluid therapy, most common interventions in acutely ill patients. Yeah, okay. The role of IV therapy and here we go. The role of IV. Okay, this is from. Share this tab instead. Here we go. From Active Med, Integrative Health Center. All right, this is where I'm reading this. Yeah, exactly, right? Lovely. The role of IV therapy in chronic illness treatment. This is for people outside of the chronic illness community, because whether or not you need IV solution for continuous IV, continuous saline, if you're in the chronic illness circles and you are on social media, you know people who need and are prescribed continuous IV. All right. And then we're going to wrap this up so I can take my other medications and walk the dogs and then hopefully not have another reaction for a while. Okay. Illness treat. So yeah, the role of IV therapy in chronic illness treatment, and this is again because my brain stopped working. Active Med Integrative Health. I will add this to the link to the stream, and then I'll do a cleanup later of it. Apologies. I think I forgot to take my H2 blocker today. Okay. In the realm of modern medicine, the quest to alleviate the burdens of chronic illness has led to innovative approaches beyond traditional management. Intravenous IV therapy has emerged as a promising tool in this arsenal, offering a direct route to deliver essential nutrients, medications, and fluids to patients with chronic conditions, from autoimmune disorders to chronic fatigue syndrome. I have that. IV therapy is gaining recognitions for its potential to complement conventional treatments and protocol, and much needed relief. I wondered why. I still remember exactly how I felt when I was IV'd 4 bags. By the way, I was or required for each hospital, each ER visit that I had to make during my pregnancy because of HG, and I came in sicker than I've ever been in my entire life, and more nauseous, and so nauseous I couldn't even. My head was too heavy for my neck. And I remember exactly how it felt when they got the saline going, and suddenly everything felt like I felt like I had just escaped the desert, being lost in the desert, and it was my first drink of water, ever. I can't even explain how good that felt. Anyway, all right. In the exploration of the role of IV therapy in chronic illness treatment, we delve into the science behind this method, its applications across various chronic diseases, and the growing body of research supporting its efficacy. By understanding how IV therapy works and its potential benefits, both patients and healthcare providers can navigate the landscape of chronic illness management with greater insight and optimism. So, optimizing health, personalized IV approaches for chronic illness. Okay. Living with a chronic illness presents a myriad of challenges, from managing symptoms to navigating treatment options. However, in recent years, personalized IV therapy has emerged as a promising adjunctive approach to optimizing health and improving quality of life for individuals with chronic conditions. Bingo. By tailoring intravenous nutrient and fruit infusions to address specific deficiencies and support overall wellness, patients can experience enhanced symptom relief and better disease management. Okay. Targeting specific deficiencies. Many chronic illnesses are associated with nutrient deficiencies due to factors such as malabsorption, dietary restrictions, or increased metabolic demands. I haven't been able to eat in 7 days because my doctor won't write a new fill for my mast cell stabilizing medication. I'm sure I'm doing just fine. Personalized IV therapy allows healthcare providers to identify and address these deficiencies through targeted nutrient supplementation. For example, patients with autoimmune diseases may benefit from intravenous vitamin D to support immune function. I can't take any vitamin D because I haven't found one that's coconut free. My vitamin D is in my vitamin D levels are like in the tank, and I walk my dogs in the sun every single day, and I still can't get enough vitamin D. All right, that's good to know. But am I going to ask my doctor for this? No. Am I allergic to all other options? Yes. Could I possibly have this prescribed? Probably. But am I going to ask for it? No, because there's a shortage already, and there are people who need this who are already in line and already dependent on this. And I've been surviving. Yeah, I might have a water bottle in my hand at all times, and either an ice cube or a straw in my mouth. But you know what? I can deal. I just won't look at my vitamin D levels for a while because that's not the priority. It's everybody ahead who's already dependent on this. Enhancing immune function. A robust immune system is essential for combating infections and preventing disease progression in individuals with chronic illness, and that's the whole point of this. Personalized IV therapy can play a vital role in bolstering immune function by delivering immune-boosting nutrients such as vitamin C, zinc, and glutathione. I can't say that. Right here. Glutathione. These nutrients help strengthen the body's natural defense system, reduce inflammation, and promote tissue repair, leading to improved overall health outcomes. I'm learning things today too. Managing symptoms and improving quality of life. Chronic illness often manifests with debilitating symptoms that can significantly impact an individual's quality of life. Personalized IV therapy offers a holistic approach to symptom management and by addressing underlying imbalances and providing symptomatic relief, whether it's alleviating pain, reducing fatigue, or enhancing mental clarity. That's what it was. I haven't been so clear. The 3 moments where my brain, I actually felt like my brain was all the way turned on. Were when I was being saline IV'd. I still remember that. It's been 17 years. Okay. Enhancing mental clarity. Customized nutrients infusions can help patients regain control over their symptoms and improve daily functioning. Integrated personalized IV therapy, comprehensive treatment plans, optimizing health outcomes for individuals by addressing nutritional deficiencies and supporting metabolic function. IV therapy complements conventional treatment, such as medicines and lifestyle interventions, to achieve synergistic effects. This multidimensional approach not only enhances symptom control, but also promotes overall well-being and disease management. Ensuring safety and efficacy. Paramount considerations when implementing personalized IV therapy for chronic illness management. Healthcare providers with expertise in IV nutrient therapy conduct thorough assessments to ensure patient suitability and monitor treatment responses closely. By adhering to established protocols and using high-quality ingredients, providers can minimize the risk of adverse reactions and maximize therapeutic benefits for patients. Like, I couldn't be PICC lined even if like a doctor like said I did because of my latex allergy. So like, I know there are like mobile IV clinics that are probably going to be wondering how to handle the patient load that they already have when their supply is being cut so drastically. And I know people who benefit from this type of service. Wow. Navigating the journey. Okay. All right. So in the complex landscape of chronic disease management, integrating IV therapy into care plans offers a promising avenue for enhanced wellness. This article is exploring the seamless incorporation of intravenous nutrient infusions into comprehensive care strategies, empowering patients to navigate their health journey with confidence and resilience. A lot of us in the chronic illness community don't have a lot of confidence, but we're resilient as hell. But that, there's a mental toll with medical gaslighting that comes with a lot of chronic illnesses that take a long time to diagnose. Tailored treatment protocols, customized IV protocols cater to the unique needs of each patient, addressing specific deficiencies and supporting overall health goals within the context of their chronic illness. Collaborative approach. Healthcare providers and patients collaborate to design personalized IV therapy regimens that complement conventional treatments, fostering a synergistic approach to disease management. IV therapy not only provides systematic relief, but also promotes holistic wellness by addressing underlying imbalances, boosting immune function, and supporting vital bodily functions. Integrating IV therapy into care plans. Optimizes treatment outcomes by addressing nutritional deficiencies, reducing inflammation, and improving energy levels, resulting in improved quality of life. That's what a lot of us are usually striving for, we're improving our quality of life. Or that's what our care teams are, that's the goal, like improve quality of life. Beyond symptom management, while traditional treatment often focus on symptom management, the holistic benefits of IV therapy extend far beyond relief for individuals living with chronic conditions. This article, okay, all right. Addressing root causes, IV therapy targets the root cause of chronic conditions by delivering essential nutrients directly into the bloodstream. This approach addresses deficiencies, supports cellular function, and fosters systemic balance, offering long-term relief beyond symptom management. Like, it's not going to cure you; it's going to help you become more well managed. Okay, because like chronic illnesses are called chronic illnesses for a reason. So don't come into the comment section and be like, all you got to do is like get rid of the parasites, or like, hey, I've got this, follow my diet plan and you'll cure it's heal your gut and you'll be fine. Yeah. But this would be helping you better manage a chronic illness and help you improve your quality of life. Right? Reducing inflammation. Chronic inflammation is a chronic denominator in many chronic illnesses. I have leukotriene levels through the roof. That was my marker for mast cell activation syndrome. My inflammation levels are like in the penthouse, and my vitamin D levels are in the basement of like the same building. IV therapy delivers anti-inflammatory compounds such as vitamin C and glutathione, helping to quell inflammation at its source and alleviate symptoms associated with chronic inflammatory conditions. Oh, it's good to know now. And then so glad I found that up on myself. All right. Boosting energy levels. Fatigue is a prevalent symptom of chronic illness that can significantly impact quality of life. IV therapy replenishes depleted energy stores by providing essential vitamins and minerals that support mitochondrial function and ATP production, resulting in sustained energy levels. Okay. Toxins and metabolic production can accumulate in the body, exacerbating symptoms and hindering recovery in chronic illness. IV therapy aids detoxification pathways by delivering antioxidants and liver supportive nutrients, facilitating the removal of harmful substances, and promoting cellular health. Brain fog and cognitive dysfunction. I know that personally with mast cell activation syndrome and other conditions are common complaints among individuals with chronic conditions. IV therapy improves brain function by supplying nutrients that support neurotransmitter production, neurotransmission, and neural health, resulting in a sharper mental clarity and cognitive function. Yeah, okay. I'm not I will not be asking for this. I will be bringing it up with my care team, but I will be bringing it up to ask if it's a possibility for the future, because not right now. Now would not be a good time for the people who are already affected. It's easier to deal with the norm that is your everyday already than it is to adjust, if this is already my norm, right? And let's say my doctors were to be like, yeah, you should get a, an IV therapy like once a week or whatever. And my daughter, right? If her pediatricians and her chronic illness care team were to be like, yeah, she needs this when she can't keep any food down for 48 hours. Okay, but our norm is our norm already. So like, we don't even complain about it to each other. We just understand. Like, we drink just homemade, like, safe for us, fast made in the air fryer, meat broth, not bone broth, because that's an instant MCAS trigger for us. It's our norm already. So like, you know what I'm saying? You take away what is someone's norm that's keeping them stable, and then you're causing imbalances that the brain and the body are like going to have to readjust to, and that's harder. So thank you, Zebra. I am, if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please check that out, and please take a look at the story. This live stream later on. I am going to go back in and I'm going to cut out and edit this down to like just like 3 separate streams, 3 different videos just with the actual article reads, because this one's huge and very, 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 this is the 3rd story I'm reading. Enhance is on why IV solution is important for chronic illness treatment for certain conditions and certain people, right? Obviously, I'm not recommending anything, and I am not diagnosing anyone. I'm just sharing what I'm finding online. Brain fog, cognitive dysfunction are common complaints among individuals with chronic illness. Resulting in stroke. Okay, we read that. All right, IV therapy has proven to be a valuable adjunctive treatment in managing chronic illness at Active Med Integrative Health Center. Our experienced team of healthcare professionals is dedicated to providing personalized care, blah, 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 blah. Okay, by combining IV therapy with other evidence-based treatments, help patients alleviate symptoms, improve quality of life, and reduce risk of complications. That's pretty much the goal for every patient with like any chronic illness. So like I'm and this is a very well written, very informative article on their or blog post on this IV solution, mobile IV solution, I think, IV solution company. So I will make sure that I include that in the stream, in the description box. Okay, all right, so bottom line, if you're chronically ill, and are already on continuous IV solutions, and you're not physically able to intake or keep down the liquids necessary for, like, essential functioning, I would be on my phone with my doctor's office and medical suppliers like ASAP. If you aren't already, find out if you're going to be directly affected, if they are directly affected, and what the projection is for when they can get you back to what you need to be on, and what you're accustomed to in order to like remain stable, because that's a big deal. You go in and you mess it. Don't fix if it ain't broken, don't fix it. If it's fixing it, don't break it. Okay, that's kind of where a lot of chronic illness patients are going to be with who are already who are on continuous IV solution, because that's what they need, yeah, so definitely those affected, talk to your doctors, talk to your insurance companies, just to make sure, see if you can get do what you need to do and what your doctors can prescribe, and what your doctors believe you need to remain as healthy as possible. Call your medical suppliers, directly, and find out what's going on, and see if you can get clarification on whether or not you're going to be directly affected, because the last article I read that was updated today, that was posted today, stated that by the end of 2024, Baxter International, the company that produces 60% of the U.S. Supply for the entire healthcare system in this country, they're only expecting to be back up to 90% production for certain medical solutions that they create. They also create solutions for dialysis. So, like, this is huge. It's mind-blowing. And we're getting we're expecting 18,000 tons coming in from Europe and China and from overseas in general, to help make up the difference. And there's still going to be a shortage, because as a country, apparently we've been in a shortage since 2018 for saline solution. That's mind-blowing. And then we have a hurricane that wiped out and devastated many people's lives and livelihoods. And we find out that Plan B for saline solution, which is essential and critical for like the most minor surgeries, emergency surgeries, and emergency room visits, and affecting people who are on continuous IV solution and need it daily. And they try to right the ship after it starts to sink. That's absolutely mind-blowing. It seems like we are so used to having to deal with every single what if, and make sure that our medical supplies, we have we carry backpacks, we carry extra big purses, we have our EpiPens, we have our emergency meds, we have this, we have that. We look like we're going on a 3-day trip for a weekend, for a day trip to the zoo, because we try to account for every what if in advance. So I don't understand how everybody, like in the mysterious, I don't understand how everybody in charge, whoever that might be, completely forgot that you need to pack the diaper bag before you leave the house with the baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't seem like there was much. Your people's lives are going to be at risk, and that's not an understatement. Because if my body is already used to being completely out of balance with these various nutrients and everything that can be alleviated or supplemented with IV solution, yeah, that's fine. And it might only be like, for some patients only need it every now and then, or on like a regular schedule. But I know people who are on continuous IV daily, prescribed by their physicians, because it's medically necessary. And the media is completely missing the fact that 90% 90% of only 90% production when they're producing 60% of the entire country's supply means that if we're going down the prioritizing line, it's going to be the people who look like they're healthy enough on paper, who are only dependent on IV solution, IV saline, and because it's obviously you need to prioritize for the emergency room, for the ICU, and for people who need the IV saline to go with their therapeutic nutrition, liquid nutrition, because they need the saline solution to go with that. If you can eat food but can't keep your hydration level where it needs to be, obviously the person who just needs the hydration is not as high on the priority list. And it's going to compound. The longer that they are not on the amount they should be, the worse the symptoms. They compound over time. It's not usually an immediate thing, with different chronic illnesses and not being properly medicated, or when you have to ration. I can empathize with that. All right. So anyway, check the links. Check the description box for the stories that I covered in this live stream. I did not expect to go this long because I didn't know that it was this bad, and I didn't know that I certainly didn't know that we're talking about being only at 90% for the rest of the year, or by the end of the year. That's huge. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. Call your physicians, call your primary carers, call your specialty doctors. Do what you need to do and keep yourself safe as much as you possibly can, because this one looks like a long haul situation here. And I'm wishing you all the best, because I know that the effects are. I know that the shortage is going to affect you personally in ways that many people aren't going to realize. Sending you love, wishing you the best, and I'll see you in the next video. All right.